Back in the cloud forest, we're basing ourselves at Bellavista Lodge, which has its own 2,000-acre reserve full of specialities. Even right outside the lodge itself, there's some amazing species. Almost all day, a pair of masked trogon flit about snatching up insects. Masked flower piercers visit the hummingbird feeders, whilst turquoise jays turn up in the morning to feast on moths attracted to the lodge's lights. Plate-billed mountain toucans, a cloud forest speciality, can be spotted gobbling down fruits, and they're called echo throughout the canopy. Various different flycatchers perch in the trees around the lodge too, whilst green and black fruit eaters move between the moss-draped branches. The roads around Bellavista Lodge are also a great place to spot wildlife because you've got these big open areas. So you can see stuff flying over, and if anything's perched, you can get a bit of a clearer view and some shots. We've already found a crested quetzal, which is, again, a pretty stunning bird, but sometimes the cloud does get in the way, so you have to be a little bit creative. But sometimes the sun does come out, and so do the blue-winged mountain tanagers. Whilst a real speciality at Bellavista, the white-faced numbird basks in the sun. We've broken our within 2 hours of Quito rule a little bit as we've been tempted out by a stunning endemic bird. This morning I'm at the Amagusa Reserve where they have a series of tanager feeders. A couple of plantains and the tanagers come streaming in. We've already had golden naped, golden, lemon rumped and flame-faced tanagers. But the tanager we're here to see, the endemic, is the glistening green tanager. And its name does do it justice. That green really does glisten, even in the murkiness of the cloud forest like this morning. We've headed deeper into the Amagusa Reserve and welcome to a game of Spot the Nightjar. Just to my right here is an incredibly well-camouflaged female leer-tailed nightjar. The males have these amazing leer tails, but the females lack them. But because she's so well camouflaged and she's reliant on that camouflage, that's why she won't fly away until I'd almost step on her and you'd have a good job of spotting her. But she blends perfectly into this rock wall that she's roosting upon. We've headed deeper into the forest since that encounter with that incredibly well camouflaged nightjar, and en route we stopped off at another feeding station for a few more tanager species. We found mossback tanagers, the black-chinned mountain tanagers, a few toucan barbettes, and even a crimson-rumped toucanet came in to pay a visit as well. And now we're deep, deep in the forest, and there's bird calls going off all around me, and there's one particular call that's drawn our attention, and that is the call of the clubbed-wing manakin. And the call that it's making, and this one is a male, is him trying to stage his very own dance-off, all in the attempts to woo a female. But in this tangle of foliage, it's really hard to get a clear shot of him. He's doing his thing on the branch, flitting to another one, but there's lots of obstructions, the light's not great, and it's proving pretty difficult. But it's not just the manakin that's around. There's a stunning clear-winged butterfly, a red one as well, which I've never seen before, which every time it alights, I'm doing my best to try and get a shot of. But like the manakin, it's proving pretty tricky. It's our last full day here in Ecuador, and we're spending it in a pretty special place, the Maquipucuna Reserve. Maquipucuna is famed for its population of Andean spectacled bears, but unfortunately now isn't the season, so chances are we're not going to see any. But it also boasts an amazing statistic. Maquipucuna holds an astonishing 4% of the planet's bird species. And one of the birds that makes up that statistic is sat right outside my bedroom window. It's another golden-headed quetzal offering stonking views. Sharing the perch with the quetzal is a constant stream of leafcutter ants. So I've seen that they're going down the tree, and I'm going to take my macro, head outside and try and get some shots of them. Leafcutter ants are incredible. You can see absolutely millions of them, and throughout the forest their trails mark the way, and that's because the worker ants that collect these leaves are blind, so they're reliant on following a trail of pheromones. Now, you'd think that these leaves are their food, but actually These guys are farmers and they take the leaves back into their nest where they grow a fungus, and that's what they feed off. When you're somewhere like this, it's easy to overlook the tiny stuff like this. But when they're as interesting and their life's as intricate as these guys is, how could you? We were up on the bridge here looking at some crested forest dragons, trying to work out how we could get low to the water to photograph them, when I took a look up this end and saw something sticking out of the water. Now, first of all, I thought it was a turtle, but then I realised it definitely wasn't because I saw some X's behind it, very ominous X's. Then I realised it was the infamous fer de lance, one of the most venomous snakes in the world. I'm not really sure what it's doing. It's on the water's edge and maybe it's waiting for some frogs, maybe it's floated down from upriver, who knows. All I do know is I'm as close as I want to be. I can tell you now that I'm about 2.8 metres from it because my 400mm won't focus if I get any closer. But for me, that isn't a problem because one bite from one of these guys and it's game over.
And with this stunning snake, my time in Ecuador is over.